almost put over after blowing a 17-point lead to Kansas City last week. Carolina's at home. They're a 3.5-point favorite. Who you got?
I'm going to go Carolina. They're at home. They need to get some more wins to actually try and compete in the NFC South right now. They've got the wind on their side right now, so I'm going Carolina.
For me, give me the Saints. Look, I like Drew Brees' leadership a little bit over Cam Newton's. Again, Cam Newton's a more explosive player and more all-around versatile player, but I think his immaturity is starting to show when his team is losing, especially coming after such a really great season last year. I don't know if Carolina has enough in the tank right now, but for me, I'm picking the Saints. Going on to Sunday's games, you have the Buffalo Bills who need to make a big playoff push, and it starts here against the 3-5-1 Cincinnati Bengals, who blew a fourth down on Monday night against the Giants. It's in Cincinnati. Who you got, Tom?
Tough one. It's definitely going to be close. It'll probably come down to the last field goal. I'm going to go Buffalo Bills. I think Tyrod Taylor will definitely be able to come into town. So will McCoy be able to beat A.J. Green and Andy Dalton and hopefully get another win.
Obviously, I don't pick this game, but again, I do agree. Tyrod Taylor looked great on Monday night. This is his first game where he really shined and almost went for 300 yards. Last game, McCoy looked phenomenal, even though his hamstring's been bothering him a little bit. And on the Bengals, and again, Andy Dalton has really not played that well. AJ Green has been okay. Obviously, he's their go-to guy, but besides that, who else you got? And that's the issue. But he can expose the Buffalo cornerbacks who have had a lot of competition. Some of the starting cornerbacks have been replaced by rookies after a shakeup in practice this week. Steelers-Browns. It's at Cleveland, although Pittsburgh is an 8-point favorite. Are the Browns going to win a game this season, or can they win this one at least?
No, not at all. I'm still going with it. They're going 0-16. They'll get the first pick in the draft. Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger looked amazing last week. He did a Dan Marino. He was about to go spike the ball and throw it to Antonio Brown on the last play. Unfortunately, Dallas came back. Ezekiel Elliott up the gut for the touchdown. I'm thinking they're pissed. They don't want that ever happening again. Their defense is going to come up big. Steelers are going to shut down Cleveland, and I'm going with Steelers.
Yep, Steelers, no question. You got the Ravens heading down to AT&T Stadium to take on the 8-1 Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a touchdown favorite. Ravens have been pretty inconsistent on the season. Just when you think they're going to be on a hot streak, they seem to blow one that they shouldn't. Do you think the Ravens continue the streak, or does Dallas go to 9-1?
I think Dallas is going 9-1. They're in their hometown. Their Ravens only make big movements during the half if they're losing. And sometimes in the fourth quarter, Flacco is really good or really awful. But when you're looking at Dak Prescott, he's on fire in the fourth quarter. He's been able to do magnificent drives, so I'm going Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going Dallas as well. Jacksonville and Detroit. It's not a sexy game, but Detroit is right now the division leader as of right now, heading in to this week. 5-4. Detroit's a 6.5-point favorite. Do the Jaguars pull off the upset, Tom?
I am going to go and say the Jackson Jaguars are going to pull up the upset. I believe in Blake Bortles and Hearns and what they can do. I think they've just had a bit of bad luck on a couple of games so far. And I feel that Detroit's magic is going to run out at some point. So I'm going Jaguars.
Yeah, they've had to pull out a lot of games late in the fourth quarter. It's been tough for them, and they're going to have to deal with Allen Hearns and Allen Robinson, who have been have honestly not been so great this season. They've had spot starts where they've had good moments, but overall they've been pretty horrific. But I think this could be the game where they kind of turn it around in the game that they really don't need because they have nothing to lose. They'll go all out and win this one. You have a huge AFC South matchup here between the Titans and Colts. Titans at 5-5 destroyed your Green Bay Packers. Tom Mariota going for 4 touchdowns. And almost a perfect passer rating on the day. Luckily, I had him in fantasy, so that's why I'm saying that. Anyway.
Yeah, lucky.
Anyway, do you think the Titans go into Indy and get the win?
Yeah, I absolutely believe so. Beating Aaron Rodgers at his home field must have pumped up Mariota huge, especially his team. We're looking at the Colts. Andrew Luck has not been lucky so far, and it's just an amazing how well their season has been. with what's affected their team so far. So I don't see the Colts winning. I think Tennessee Titans are going to keep on rolling.
Yeah, give me Tennessee. I mean, look, even though Tennessee has a lot of work to do offensively, and they really don't have a big offensive weapon other than Delaney Walker, I would say for me, Mariota's has done a really, really good job with this team, and just keeping them at 5-5 is very, very impressive so far. I'm picking them to go to 6-5 as well. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who blew out Chicago last weekend, taking on the 7-2 Chiefs, who again came back from a 17-point deficit against Carolina in the fourth quarter. Undefeated at home are the Chiefs. Do they stay undefeated, Tom?
Yes, the Chiefs stay undefeated because Tampa Bay was playing one of the weakest teams in the league, right next to Cleveland Browns. Jameis Winston is, I'm not going to say an elite quarterback. He's common folk right now, and his team, if they beat the Chiefs, I could see them winning a couple more games, but Chiefs hometown, they're not going to lose.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Chiefs 4-0, and they're playing a Buccaneers team who's been pretty inconsistent. Jameis will turn it over a couple times at Arrowhead. Chicago heading to East Rutherford to take on the Giants. Bears are now out with Alshon Jeffrey, who has been suspended for PED use, out 4 games, which is already pretty bad considering this offensive unit has been hurt by injuries and suspensions with Langford down and now Jeffrey. What do you think? The Bears have a shot or no?
Bears do not have a shot. They just lost their best offensive weapon, especially with Cutler not being as consistent, or Smoking Joe Cutler. I don't see the Bears winning that many games the rest of the season, so I'm going no.
Yep, no, I'm agreeing. Giants win this game, no problem. Cardinals Vikings. The line says it's even, so betting guy, that's what it's at right now. They're both Cardinals 4-4, Vikings 5-4. It is in Minneapolis. It's a must win for both teams if they're trying to keep any hope alive moving forward for the rest of the season. Who do you got, Tom?
This is definitely a tough game. In my fantasy league, I have Carson Palmer, so I hope that the Vikings defense is not a shutdown team. On the other hand, you have Sam Bradford, who has been losing currently, and he has not been playing his best, but he still has his offensive weapon, Stephon Diggs. So it is going to be a push. It's going to come down to the last minutes. I'm going to go Vikings.
Look, Vikings have lost 4 in a row after getting a 5-0 start. They have to break it at some point, I think. And being at home against a team that's been, again, very inconsistent offensively as well, again, I think this is the great opportunity for the Vikings to take advantage of that. I think they can do it. They go to 6-4. Jared Goff, the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft, will finally make his debut when they take on the Dolphins, as the Rams take on the Dolphins. The line is 2.5 in favor of Miami. Does Jared Goff play well? Number 1, and number 2, did the Rams win?
Jared Goff. Apparently, Jeff Fisher says this was a hard decision. It was a gut decision to play him instead of Casey Keenum. With Todd Gurley in the back, it's going to help Jared Goff. It's a big stage right now, first overall pick for the Rams. I'm going to say he's going to do average. He's not going to do bad, but he's not going to do good. His QBR is probably going to be in the 60-70 range. He's going to throw a pick. He's going to throw a touchdown. He's going to go for 200 yards. Does he beat the Miami Dolphins? Yes. Tannehill has not been the greatest quarterback, and I believe he will be out in the next 2 seasons, if not next season. Their defense, the way that they played against, I believe it was the New York Jets last week.
Rams played the Jets, yeah.
Yeah, and it ended at 9-6. It was an okay game. Defensive battle. On the other hand, I see LA Rams just destroying Miami Dolphins. Jared Goff only, as I said, gets 1 touchdown. I think Todd Gurley is going to have an open season day, have maybe 2 touchdowns, 100 yards. I'm going LA Rams.
Really hoping for that because he's on my fantasy team, and honestly, Gurley's been a bust for me this season. But honestly, I do think Goff can do all right. I mean, you hold him out the first 8 games of the season, and he does okay. He has some moments, but at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. Jay Ajayi, on the other hand, for the Dolphins, has been absolutely phenomenal, going for back-to-back 200-yard games throughout the season. He only has 725, so, I mean, he does have his bad moments as well. For me, look, the Rams are at home, and Goff's making his debut. I like his chances. You have the Patriots and the Niners, which would have been a sexy matchup a couple years ago, but now it's just pretty horrific. The line is at 13 for the New England Patriots. I'm assuming you're picking the Patriots, right, Tom?
Yeah, I'm picking the Patriots, no doubt about it.
Okay, there you go. Pretty easy. The Eagles head to Seattle to take on the Seahawks. Seahawks have been pretty good at home. Actually, they haven't lost a game at home. That's how good they are. They did release Christine Michael, their leading rusher on the season. So that means C.J. Prosise, the rookie from Notre Dame, is probably going to get a lot of snaps, along with Thomas Rawls, who's coming back from injury this season. Again, Seattle's at 6.5-point favorite at home. Who you got?
Tough decision. Seattle has been phenomenal at home, especially in the past couple seasons. So I have nothing to say, but Seattle's going to win.
Look, give me Eagles in the upset pick. I like Carson Wentz's maturity to come out throughout this season, and again, he hasn't really made terrible plays. He's cost his team games in some respect, but I think he's kept them at least alive in the fourth quarter to where they have a chance to win. So as long as he does that, I think they'll win. In the nightcap here, you have your Packers, Tom, heading to Landover, Maryland to take on the Washington Redskins. Washington is a 2.5-point favorite right now. Kirk Cousins, he's been okay throughout the season, not great. But again, Aaron Rodgers, this is a must-win for the Pack. Do they get it?
And I cannot say it, but I do think it is a must-win. But I don't know yet. If Clay Matthews is in, I will take it, yes. But if not, I don't think they'll win.
Okay. I'm picking the Redskins. Look, again, as inconsistent as the Redskins have been, the Packers have even been more inconsistent. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins, I'll take him at home. Packers haven't been that great on the road this season. And finally, on the Monday night game, you have two defensive teams who've been surprisingly great in the AFC. Again, up top or tied for the lead in their division, with the Texans heading to Oakland. Actually, Texans and Raiders taking on in Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. I completely forgot about that. It's a neutral game, technically, but it should be exciting for all the fans in Mexico. For me, I'm picking the Raiders. Who you got, Tom?
I'm picking the Raiders as well. Just the way that their offense looks and their defense is, as long as they keep their penalty yards down, I see Oakland beating.
There you go. Perfect. We'll take a short break. When we come back, college football was pretty intense this weekend with number 2, 3, and 4 going down for the first time in about 30 years. We'll tell you who was picked for the college football playoff, whether we agree with it, and then we'll go with our pick'em for this upcoming weekend. So we got some music here for you. Can't Stop, Won't Stop, Fire and Rain on the Spicy Sports Show with Sam Cerrone and Tom Crane on Spreaker Radio.
I'm from the biggest little city in the wild, wild west, Reno. Now you know it's the city I rep, a little rain, but mostly fire. Though I tire and perspire through the mire, I will rise again. Not from the city of sin, from the city that wins. White trash, catching fire, burning brown for my kin. Took my lessons pushing wood every day in the street. Get up early in the morning, cause my daddy always told me, boy, wake up, Jacob. Days are breaking, coffee's boiling and the bread's a baking. Roll out, cowboy, come and get it. Before I throw it out and spit in the skillet. Yeah, so I finish up my breakfast, put away the ham. Now I never put a T on the end of can. Then take a receiver and banging down the double doors. Hear my spurs jingle jangle as I mount my horse. I see fire, I see rain, yeah. 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 Now check it, I grew up inside the 495. In the shadow of the Capitol is where I resided. Learned to talk real slick and to keep my stride. Cause deep down I knew my future was already decided. I had a lot of people telling me off, though, had me marching in the line of a familiar